Hello, pastors, and welcome, and thanks for joining us today. My name's DiMaria, and I'm along here with Jason Hanson, who just popped up with us. And we're from The Light Digital, and at The Light Digital, we help businesses and nonprofits and churches reach more people online. Now, one way we do this is through these webinars, and we want you to be able to walk away with some actionable steps in how your church can better reach the community God has placed you in. So we hope that you can take away some valuable ideas and implement them right there in your local area. That's our ministry to you. Now, please remember, online landscape, we know that your situation is unique and that your ministry is unique. And that's why at the end of today's webinar, we're also offering all of you a free digital custom report. Now, this is a one-on-one custom analysis of your church's online opportunities and challenges, and also your ministry. So make sure you sign up for that, and it'll take these ideas, make them more practical for you. Also, you'll notice on your screen there's that little chat box, so make sure to enter in any questions you have, and we'll try to get to them at the end of today's webinar. Now, first, who are we? Well, as I said, my name's Carl, and I have 30 years of traditional Christian radio experience. I've been managing radio stations all around the country in New York, Boston, Detroit, New Orleans, San Antonio. I've worked with many and helped many national ministries, from Focus on the Family, In Touch, Joyce Myers. I mean, you name the ministry, I probably worked with them. Also worked with many, many local churches, from a few members to 1,000 members. But today, digital is the new world, and that ministries is what really needs to pursue. That's why I'm really enjoying these webinars with Jason, because digital is
that's a good
what really needs to be looked at, you know. So speaking of Jason, you see a smiling face there. Jason, why don't you share a little bit about yourself?
I'm a Giants fan. That's all you need to know. No, I'm more than that. Happy to be here. Thanks, Carl. I've been in marketing and advertising for many years now. I've worked with some great organizations and churches, Jamba Juice being one of them, Sutter Health, a local hospital in the area, the Bible Answer Man, you may know of that ministry, AAA Insurance, the Master's College, to many local churches. What I love doing is helping businesses and churches, nonprofits, figure out what their unique selling proposition is. I know I said selling for a church, but really figure out what that is and help them communicate it. I also serve at a local church in Vallejo, Community Bible Church, with my wife Tiffany, and we're doing that while also figuring out how to raise 2 boys under 2, Maverick and Grayson.
All right, thanks, Jason. Well, let's just get right into today's webinar, right? So what are some of the topics that you're going to be covering today?
Yeah, we're going to be moving fast and furious. So we have 30 minutes or so. I'm going to try to get through all of it, but also leave time for questions. So what can you expect today? Well, we need to see how marketing is changing. So we need to take a step back and look at the big picture before we dive into this thing called digital marketing. And then after that, we'll go more specific in this thing called digital marketing and figure out how to shine online, how your church can shine online, what this actually means for your church, and then how we can help. Again, this should be helpful to you. There will be actionable tips. So make sure to take notes, things that ring true or you need to check out. Take notes and go and make those changes. Before I go anywhere, though, I need to put an asterisk or a caveat, whatever you want to call it. We work with businesses, we work with nonprofits, we work with churches. Many of us here at The Light Digital, our owners, we go to church. We are Christians, but we're in marketing and advertising. Either case, we believe that it is Jesus who builds his church. He builds his church, but he's given us these tools in order to help churches figure out how to get the message out. So why I say this is I may use the word like selling or prospects or clients. We're going to put on our marketing hats, but we're not far from the fact that it is the Lord who builds his church. So we understand that here, and we know that you appreciate that. Now, we can't talk about marketing and look at the big picture of marketing without a marketing funnel. You just talk to any marketing guy, there's going to be a funnel that comes up. Marketing, even though marketers love killing things, they love saying TV's dead, this is dead, radio's dead, newspapers are dead, the idea of getting someone's attention, drawing them in, and helping them take that desired action, that really hasn't changed. So back in the day, and even now, you have to get someone aware that your church is around. So you may have print ads. You may do a billboard campaign. How about a commercial? I don't know if any of you have tried a local spot, but you need to get people aware that you're around. And of course, we all want word of mouth. You want your members telling people. But what about interest? How do you gauge, are they interested? Well, a direct mail campaign may answer that. Maybe you target a certain zip code. You know there's a lot of families there, and you have VBS coming up this summer, so you want to target them while they're thinking right now, planning their summer. And there's a direct call to action. Call this number to register your child. Is there interest? Well, if there is, there's probably desire. And back in the day, they just had to look at the phone book. I want our kids to go here, or we want to visit your church. Let's look at the address. Where are they located? So you want to make sure that your address was correct in the yellow pages. And then action. So from awareness, knowing of your church, all the way down to action. I know this says in-store purchase. Did they visit your church? Are they engaging with you as a ministry? Now this is all fine and well, but the problem is our choices have just increased. We live in a very distracted society. There's not just 3 TV networks, a few radio stations, a newspaper, and the yellow pages to worry about now. This is a real couple sitting down at a coffee shop, engaged in their worlds and dating at the same time. But go to a restaurant, and this is not just me who's noticing these things. Next time you're in a restaurant, you have your tasty dinner before you enjoy, look up and notice how many people are looking down at their phones or Instagramming their dinner before they take a bite. We live in a distracted society. The NBA playoffs are coming up. This is a big Wednesday for us here in the Bay Area. Warriors are going to beat the record, I know it. But even as important as this event is, when I'm watching it, I'm going to look around and I'm going to see my friends, family, they're going to have their phone in their hands, ready to tune out when a boring commercial comes on. So you cannot rely on the old funnel to get someone from awareness to interest because there are so many new options. We are distracted. People enter one way, maybe they see your billboard, but they told themselves they're going to check out your website when they got home, but something distracted them. So they're off. They fall out of the side. There are so many options now. So what we want you to that you cannot just do the same thing that you did 20 years ago. There's a reason it's not working as effective as it was. Now, I'm not saying that all the offline mediums are dead and it's all about online. No, you need to have a proper mix. And we're not going to talk about specifically what that proper mix is. It's different from church to church. But you do need to make sure that you have a few of these that you're using to reach people, to bring them through the funnel from knowing about you, because even if they see your sign on the freeway, if you're not helping them by having a mobile-friendly website, we'll get into a moment, inviting them to a specific event, they may just see your sign and then never hear or think of you again. So the internet has, and social media, it's not a fad, it's here to stay. It has changed the way we consume information and the way you as a ministry have to, need to reach people. It's changed it. There's nothing weird. This is the world we live in. But it has given us the ability to deploy new tactics in our marketing. And we like to break these up into 2 categories, and we use war terms. The 2 categories are airstrikes and special forces. When we say airstrikes, we think of big campaigns like billboards, TV. So say you do a billboard campaign along a big interstate for your church, and maybe you're emphasizing your children's VBS camp. So give your children something, a safe place to spend the summer. But having that billboard, you know you're going to reach people who are already in local churches and probably already have their kids in VBS. B, you're probably going to reach your members. Maybe even the person who designed it is going to see that. So there's going to be spillover. In airstrikes, there is going to be spillover, a wasted message. But with special forces, you can be very tactical. And what we're going to get into, why you need to pay attention to this thing called digital marketing, is because you can reach families. You can reach families from ages, maybe the parents are from ages 32 to 46, who enjoy outdoor activities because you're going to have an outdoor themed ministry this summer without any spillover in a certain mile radius. Now, I like going over specific examples. So here's an example of a special force type deployment of an ad. So for Valentine's Day, I needed to find a date. And I wanted, even though I live in the Bay Area, it's a very big place, I live in a small town nestled outside the Bay Area slightly called Crockett, California. Only about 3,000 of us there. And there's a restaurant, a really good restaurant called the Dead Fish that I wanted to go to on Valentine's Day. So I had the place picked out. It wasn't far from home, but I didn't have a date yet. So I needed to solve that. Well, it's right off the Interstate 80, and there's billboards. So I could have said, okay, I'm gonna put a billboard up there saying, hey, free dinner with this guy, Valentine's Day. Now, first of all, I want to be careful in how much I'm spending and who I'm reaching. I didn't have the money to buy a billboard, and I didn't want to reach just anyone. I'm pretty picky. I'm a pretty picky guy. So I said I need to be more tactical than this. Hey, I'm in digital marketing. I'm gonna have a special force move, and I'm gonna do an ad on Facebook. So I set up an ad, had a picture there, linking to a landing page. It was only one person can claim it. If they claim it, they got to go with me on a date to the Dead Fish for Valentine's Day. And they only had a few hours. There was a short window. I wanted immediate response. I didn't want to have to wait a few days to wonder, am I going to have a date? But again, I was very picky. So I didn't want to have to drive far to pick up my date. I only wanted to date someone who lived in Crockett. Facebook has gauges on the side on their ad platform, and they basically tell you how large the pool is of who you're reaching. With only 3,000 people, this needle was almost in the red. Basically, Facebook's telling me, hey, buddy, I know you think you're cool and all, but you may want to open up who you're reaching. But I said, hey, Facebook, trust me. I have faith in what you're going to deliver. But I was even more specific. I only wanted to reach females in Crockett. Not only that, I only wanted to reach females from 27 to 28. But like I said, I'm pretty picky. I only wanted to reach females from 27 to 28 who live in Crockett, California, who've been to Boston University, and who have worked in the legal field. Talk about specific. I know a lot of you are thinking, wow, no one should date this guy. He seems pretty picky. But I am, because I had a specific target. Facebook at this point is telling me, you need to widen the net. You're not going to catch anyone. This is going to be wasted money, a wasted time. I said, trust me. So I launched the ad. Within 2 hours, I was at work, not worrying about my ad campaign. I got a call. My wife asked me how many other ladies saw this ad. It worked. I let her know, don't worry, you were the only one that went to because you were the only one I was targeting. Now in Facebook, you can't put someone's name in there. But I knew enough of who I wanted to take on a date, the only person I'd want to take to the Dead Fish for Valentine's Day. I knew enough about her that I was very, very tactical in how I got her to be my Valentine. And of course she asked me, how expensive was that? And I told her, oh, you're worth it. Now I have later told her that was only about 43 cents, that click, and she's the only one who saw it. So that is an example of how specific and tactical you can get. So in this very distracted society, everyone's everywhere, you can be very tactical in the digital world of who you're trying to reach. That's why it's important. That's why it's so important.
Hey, Jason, so does this mean, I'm a pastor, or the pastors that are listening to us now, to try to grow their church online through Facebook, whatever, they can actually target people within a 5-10 mile radius of their church, around their church?
Yeah, 5-10 mile radius, and you can get as crazy specific as I did. So just to use the example again, say you're having a ministry around the NBA playoffs. Maybe you're all going to watch, your men's ministry is going to watch the Warriors break the record, and you probably only want to reach, and it's a men's ministry, so you only want to reach men, and you probably only want to reach men who are interested in football, or in or you can do football, but the NBA or sports in general. And you can do a 5-mile radius of your church because guys don't like to travel too far. Now, if you have barbecue or something, you can probably open that up to 15-mile radius. But yes, to answer your question, you can apply these same ideas for your ministries. So how to shine online? Hopefully you've seen, okay, marketing is changing. We can't deny that, and we have to consider this thing called the internet. So how can you as a church figure out this thing called the internet? What are the most important steps? And again, this is there is with the time we have remaining, but I am going to be brief over some pieces. But just in general, here's what it takes to shine online. First step, you have to have not just a website. Say you took off those first 2 words 10 years ago, 7 years ago, even probably 3 years ago, you can probably just have a website. But now it has to be mobile friendly, a mobile friendly website. This is from Stephen Fogg. He's a communications director, online pastor at Crossway Church. A first-time visitor will define your church by their mobile search experience. So think back of the funnel. They see your billboard. They hear your radio program. They're in the area. They're interested. There's awareness. There's interest. They go to your website. Oh, it's not mobile friendly. They can't find out when your service times are. Where's your contact information? This is frustrating. Next option. You have to have a mobile friendly website. Not only is it frustrating for the consumers, Google reported, and this is in November, so this is an old stat here, it's gone up. 50% of searches this month, being November, were on a mobile phone, according to Google. That number is climbing. So you're missing, you're frustrating 50%, over 50% of the people if you don't have a mobile website. But not only that, it's not just for the people. Google, as of last June, they are slapping the hands of all websites, including churches. They don't care. If you do not have a mobile-friendly website, you will rank lower in search because they need to make the people who are searching happy. And nothing frustrates someone more than when they open up a website on their phone and they have to use their fingers to pinch to read it. So you have to consider mobile is so important. And even just look at on the Facebook side, how many people are on mobile. 92% of their users access it on their phones. So mobile has the lion's share. You have to have a mobile-friendly website. This is step one. Do you have a mobile website? Ask yourself that question, and then if you don't, you need to answer it. It's a must.
Absolutely, Jason. Yeah, we can't stress that enough. And if your current website that you have is not mobile friendly, and you have any questions about how to make your current website mobile friendly, we can help. Just contact Jason or myself. It's not very hard, and we'll take care of it. Just contact us if you want to see if your website is mobile friendly or not. We'll just help you with that.
Yeah, there's actually a neat Google test. They have a Google mobile friendly test, and you can plug your URL in, and you'll see if you pass their criteria, which is important. So you need to have a mobile friendly website, and I didn't even mention on the back end of your website you need to have SEO, thought out content. But not only do you need a home base, your website, you need to think, okay, how am I going to get found on search? Because the fact of the matter is, every day there are over 512 websites born. That is a lot of websites. So just having a website right now doesn't cut it because people are searching. Yes, they may have seen your sign and seen your URL and they type it in directly, but no one's even typing in URLs directly anymore. They see your name and they're typing that in. So before we get to this near me fact, step one in search, type in your church name. And if you're not on the first page of search, you have a big problem. You have to show up. If they're in your area and they're somewhere around your church name and you're not showing up, that's a big problem. You have to fix that. But not only that, the number of near me searches, so that's not near me personally, but people who type in pizza near me, jewelry near me, Bible study near me, church near me, has risen by over 130% from last year. So it's gone up over 130%. More and more people, Google's telling us, are looking and they're typing in locally, near me, so these very local specific searches. And mobile, so this is another little shout out to mobile, comprises of 88% of those near me searches. It's you have to think, people are on the go, they're on their phones, am I showing up when they're searching for me? So it's not, hey, when did you hear about me? It's where are people before they've even heard about you? Where are they going to find answers to their problems? So step one, type in your church name. Your church name, you have to be found on the first page when they type in your church name. Why is that important? Well, 90% of all searches stop after the first page. So you'll miss 90% of the people if you're not found anywhere on the first page. So type in your church name. If you're not on the first page, you're not existing in their world. Not only that, after 5 listings, so look on this page right here, after 5, 75% stop looking. So you need to show up in those first 5. It's not only your church name, it's the near me. Church near me. Bible study near me. Ministry for children near me. VBS near me. All of those two, so church name near me, you have to show up on the first page in search. That's step 2 of shining online. But I can take it a step further because we as a church don't just want to reach the people who are in the mindset of looking for a church. So they're past awareness, they're already aware that they want to go to church, they're more in the interest phase, they're just looking for a place to visit. Of course you want to reach those who've seen your name and they're typing it in, or they're looking for church near me. But what about those who are searching for things relating to problems they're facing? Help with drug addiction, help with sickness. How do I get out of this financial mess I've made? I'm struggling with alcohol addiction. Are you as a local church showing up in those local searches, answering their questions, helping them, becoming a resource? So it's not only your church name, it's not only the near me type searches, but are you answering their problems? Are you there when they make these searches? That's a question you have to ask yourself. And one of the quick ways to fix this, not only your website, but Google+. So highlight this, underline it. Google+ it's actually kind of hard to find your Google+ page. Google's going through some weird transitions right now. But essentially, your Google+ page is your church's location in Google's mind. It's your church's map page. So you want to make sure that your church is verified, your Google+ page is verified, and you can see on Church of the Highlands, a church we work with, there's a little check mark there. And a little side note, don't feel like it's too late or, oh my word, I haven't worked on this and we've been around 75 years. Church of the Highlands has been ministering in the area for over 50 years, and we just helped them with this a little over a year and a half ago. We've been working with them. So it's never too late to start, but start today. So verify your page, make sure it's verified, but you also want to post on Google+, Because posting on Google Plus is you telling the search engines every day what you're known for, why you're relevant, why you're important. So if you're talking about Bible studies, if you're talking about faith, if you're talking about overcoming addiction, if you're sharing testimonies, all those keywords will be attributed to your church. And over time, that will build your search strength so that you can start showing up on the first page, not just for your name, not just for near me, but also answering people's questions. So remember, put this asterisk, if you're not on the first page of Google with these 3 criteria, your church doesn't exist. And Google Plus is the first place to look. Oh yeah, Carl?
Yeah. No, again, I can't stress that enough. We want to make sure that you're coming up first. Jason gets nervous when I say first, or at least in the top 5.
At least in the top 5.
The top 5. But the good news is there are really some pretty simple explanations as to why or why you're not showing up. And if you sign up for our free custom report, we'll have the answers as to why and what you need to do to show up higher in Google search. All right, Jason? Will you take care of that for me?
Yeah, it will point out some of the key indicators as to why, oh, it's these simple fixes that can help you show up for those searches.
Right.
Where we're at now is we have a light bulb, essentially. We have a mobile-friendly website. We're making sure that we're getting found on those important searches. We're taking care of Google+. We're feeding the search engines good information. But if we only cared about those who were in the mindset of looking for church or looking for help, well, we shouldn't be called a church, because doesn't Jesus say to go therefore and make disciples? We need to go where the people are. And that is what we call switching on the light bulb, turning on the light and shining in the darkness of the internet and reaching people where they are. And where are they spending their time? That's what I want to ask. Well, Dr. Ed Stetzer, great guy. I would follow him on Twitter. Great guy to follow. He's a pastor. He calls social media the 21st century town square. Before, people would meet at maybe civic meetings in the town square, and they would debate. They would ask life's big questions. They would gather. They would joke about the previous week. They would talk about their aspirations. They would get ideas, encourage, probably even get mad at each other. Now all those things happen on the internet, especially the getting mad at each other. That's where we're at. Now, that's not just some guy's quote. It's where the stats are. If you look at the growth of the mobile phone over TV has been astounding. So from 2012 to 2014, that number has climbed, and it will continue to climb. Mobile first. That is where people are spending their time. Now, where are they spending their time when they're on their phones? Well, you can see from this chart, they are spending their time in their social network. So we're not just surfing the web. We're not even just playing games all the time or reading emails. We are spending time in a curated world. How we like to call it, it's gone from the WWW, the World Wide Web, to the WMW, the World My Web, my world, my curated world. So we're spending our time in places like Facebook. And this month alone, again, this is another older stat, Facebook had 1 billion active users on a single day. I believe this was back in November as well. 1 billion. So these are real people spending their time. The fastest growing demographic, so for all you out there thinking, oh, this is just all for kids. Well, actually, kids have generally moved on to Snapchat. There's still shadow viewers on Facebook. But for all the people, we can't reach the baby boomers on Facebook. Well, the fastest growing demographic on Facebook is 42 to 54, and then 54 to early 60s. Fastest growing demographic. I knew the day I got a friend request from my grandma that times are changing. And not only that, every single day search engines index. So what that means is they will read your social media information. So it's not only where the people are, it's where the search engines gather to get information. You have to turn on the light bulb. So quickly, and I know we have a little time left, I want to get to questions. These are some points to consider, so you don't just say, oh, I need to go do Facebook and start posting tomorrow. No, you need to consider, what does it take to actually shine on social? Well, you have to plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You have to start with a plan. What are you trying to accomplish, and how are you going to accomplish it? Secondly, you have to create content worth sharing. You need to encourage. You need to remind. You need to invite. As pastors, as churches, are you repurposing all that time you spend on sermons in your social efforts? So giving a snippet of your points, maybe a video, you sharing, oh, here are the points we're going over this next Sunday, and sharing it. Or even deeper than that, more real, how God has affected you this week in the studying of it, why you're so excited to share. Not only that, you need to consider every channel you're on. Now, you don't need to be on every channel, but every channel you're on requires a different message. You need to tailor your message. You wouldn't put your radio ad on your TV commercial. You can't put a Facebook post inside of Twitter. They're two different mediums. You need to communicate according to that medium. Then once you do this, you need to get ready to listen and respond to real people. This is a two-way conversation. This is not another bulletin board where you're just plastering information. You need to think of ways, how do we create this as a conversational piece to build engagement? Because the goal is, you don't need to reach millions of people. The goal is not to go viral. You want to build up a community of people. Just as you've put people in your seats and they gather in your building, you want to gather people to your Facebook page, for example, so that they know it's a place where they'll find encouragement. They'll get reminded of events coming up. They'll have tools that they can share, sermons, snippets that they can share to their friends and family to encourage them. You want to get ready to turn Facebook, for example, or whatever medium you're choosing, into your telephone, or how I like to think of it, it is your evangelist. It's your greeter at your church. You don't want that person just to wave and pass them in. You want them to have conversations, to elicit questions. Where are you from? How can we help you? How can we pray for you? So as you can see, it takes a lot of work to make this thing work, but it starts with a plan. Now I'm going to give you a story as we wrap up here. This is Church of the Highlands, again, the same church I referenced earlier we work with. We have a few goals. Three main goals are, one, they have a lot of events for various people at various stages in their life. So we market those and highlight those events, both for their members, but also to reach the community. So if you look to your, I believe it's your right, that little mobile screen, they have a car show they do once a year, and they had one of their best turnouts last summer. We put a video ad in for the car show. We targeted men and those who are interested in classic cars, and we had almost close to 6,000 views on that, and it was one of their best turnouts. So we market their events. We also directly encourage and do outreach on their Facebook page, so we post snippets of the sermons, words of encouragement, articles on prayer from different publications, and we want this to be a tool that members can share so that we can reach their friends and family. Well, the moment we did this, we were ready for this to become a ministry, and it did. We had a private message. Now I've changed the name of the gentleman just to protect his identity, but he sent us a message, a private message, and he said, how does one go about checking out the church? So he was looking to get plugged into a Bible study possibly. Well, we replied for the church, and we said, you're more than welcome to join us or go to Bible studies. Here's a link. So here's what you're looking for. Here's a direct link to all the various groups and adult classes, so we made a guess that he's probably an adult that you may be looking for. Please contact us if you have any questions. And we waited. We didn't want to bombard him, but we waited. He actually replied back to us, and he opened up. Because he saw, okay, this is a real person, this isn't automated, he opened up a bit. He actually admitted that his wife is more spiritual than he is. And he wasn't really, he possibly wasn't ready to visit right away, but he said, I'll pray and I'll write again soon. So he was thinking about it. And again, we got this message. It was on a Thursday. And he replied back that very same day. So the weekend passed. We're not sure what happened. But a peculiar thing happened. We got a message from him again on that next, it was a Monday or Tuesday. And he said, I have a question about tonight's dinner and a movie. Oh, so no, he got back to us actually on that next Friday. So the Friday after the weekend. He got back to us. He sent us a message. We didn't know if he visited or not. And he said, I have a question about tonight's dinner and a movie at the church. I know it's Italian sausage, spaghetti, but is there any options for regular meatballs? Hey, the guy doesn't like Italian spaghetti. That's okay, or Italian sausage. But we were confused because, as I mentioned, one of our jobs is to let people know of the events that are happening. We went back to see if we can answer his question. This event wasn't on our calendar. We knew nothing about it. So I contacted the church, our representative there, and she laughed and she said, oh, I'm sorry, this was a last-minute decision. We wanted to do more of a family event. We invited everyone who came on this last Sunday to a dinner and a movie we're doing. Very last minute. You didn't drop the ball. Light bulb went off. Jeff visited that Sunday. And he felt so comfortable, he made a connection there, that he's even coming back to the dinner and a movie. And not only that, I mean, he's so comfortable, he's saying, hey, do you have any other meat options? I mean, we had to tell him, we were happy, but we had to tell him, unfortunately, you know, that's our only meat, but you will have as much salad and garlic bread as your heart desires. We look forward to seeing you. So you can see, once you open this channel up, you have a plan and a purpose. People think, okay, this is someone at the church. This is the greeter. This is the evangelist. I can talk to this person. They're going to expect real answers. We can help you get there. So I know we've covered a lot, from mobile websites, website development, creating a strategy. That's what we do with all our clients before even posting. It's creating that plan. Reputation management, blog development, a lot of things I didn't talk about. But first step is you want to see what pieces am I missing in this Shine Online formula. How's my website? How's my search? Am I turning on the light bulb? But remember, the most important thing, why are you doing this as a church? Well, it's because of this. I don't know if you caught in his first message, he mentioned he's looking for a church. It excited him that Church of the Highlands was a church that did baptism. And almost a year later, this post is why we do what we do. It's why Church of the Highlands decided to really take this thing called social media seriously. We had a post that said, we will celebrate Easter Sunday in 3 weeks. How are you and your families preparing? And Jeff replied, being baptized. That's why we do this. He posted it publicly. I mean, this guy's pretty. He's changed his profile to the church's profile image. He's pretty on fire now. But this is why we do this. It's not just about likes. It's not just about website traffic. It's reaching real people, helping their real problems, answering their real questions with the ministry God has given you. That's why we get excited about this, and I'm sorry if I'm getting a little passionate, but that's why we do this. That's why your church needs to take this seriously. So how do you shine online? You have to have a mobile-friendly website. You have to consider search. Can they find me when they just type my name in? How about church near me? And what about answering their problems? Struggling with addiction. I need help. And then you can't forget this step. You have to turn on the light and go where the people are. Go to the town square. Go to social media and start engaging in conversations. Carl, there's a lot more we can cover, but I want to be mindful of the time. I know we're slightly over. So I will stop there, and if we have any questions, we'll try to get to as many as we can.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks, Jason. Appreciate your sharing your knowledge with us today, and yeah, especially Jeff's story. So we have a few questions. Let's see how many we can get to. Yeah, I know we're getting a little long. This first one says, this is very interesting, but we're a small church and a small staff. Is this something realistically that we can do, and is it something that we can afford to do as a smaller church?
So I will say, especially as a small church, you can't afford not to do this. You have to take these things, go through these steps, and you have to address them. But the good news is, even though there's a new social media every time you blink, you don't need to be everywhere. And you need to say, okay, what things can we do, and what things can we, if we were to rely on a partner like the Light Digital, what things can they do? And the good news, just so you know, to give you a range, we have some clients working with us, and their budget is anywhere from $300, $200 a month to $2,000 a month. But the question is not how much can I spend, it's what are the most important things I need to do right now to help people find me and engage with me. Hopefully that answered the question. I know it's a bit generic, but it really depends on what your needs are and what you can do in-house versus rely on outside help.
Here's a second question. What can you guys do, or the Light Digital can do, with online video, and how does that all work with YouTube and those sorts of things?
Yeah, as you can see, I didn't even get into YouTube, but YouTube, that's a great question because obviously this person knows the importance of video. Video is the #1 type of content that people love and the social channels love. What do I mean by that? Well, people love watching videos. They're fun. And the social channels love them because they know people love them, so they're sharing them more. Two things to that. You need to have video content in your strategy. So if that's the pastor, you sharing a quick minute with pull out your iPhone or your Android, these things are amazing cameras, HD in your pocket. Pull them out and do a very real, organic video. Like I mentioned earlier, it could be you talking about how your sermon, your studies affected you that week, and then inviting any questions or prayer requests or asking questions from them. But there's also a time where you want more professional video, and we have crews that we're able to access all over the U.S., so sorry for all those if there's anyone listening in Canada or Mexico, but all over the U.S. we can send a crew in, very affordable, and they can film like a trailer of your church just to give people a better picture of your ministry, even testimonials from your members. Maybe you want something higher production than a phone, and you should use those things on your website just to give people more information than just a blank screen or words on a screen, and even in your social channels. But good question. Yes, you should consider video.
Yeah, here's one more quickly. Do you work with national ministries to target specific cities?
Oh yes, so national ministries. So the beauty of the digital space is you don't need to reach everyone across the U.S. That shouldn't be your goal. If you're just a local ministry, you probably just need to reach people in your local community. But say you're a satellite church or you are a national ministry, you have a TV program, radio program, there are pockets of people who you are already reaching and people who you want to reach in those areas all over the country. And you can have a specific campaign in Wichita, Kansas, and a specific campaign in Richmond, California, just reaching those two groups of people if you wanted. Hopefully that was the question you were, the answer. I don't want to question your questions. But it is 12:48, so I want to be mindful of all your time. There will be a recording of this, but in all, I know there's more questions, so reach out to us, and we will be happy to work through those with you.
Yeah, thanks for everyone for joining us today. If you have any questions, comments, make sure to reach out, Jason or myself. You can email, call us. We're happy to help. And remember, sign up for this free 30-minute is what it takes, no obligation, custom report, one-on-one custom report. You can email Jason or myself or just call us, and we can schedule that for you. Absolutely free, and we'd be happy to do that for you. So thanks again for joining us, and we hope you all have a great day, and we look forward to talking to you all soon.
Bye, everyone. Take care. Really enjoyed it.